Verme la moustache en la camucha. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki punetica. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki punetica. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki punetica. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki taca, tiki. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki punetica. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki punetica. Siento patamilo, mira taca, tiki punetica. Samile, verme la moustache en la camucha.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today I'm doing my not mock draft. I gotta explain that to y'all because most people do mock drafts. I do a not mock draft. What my not mock draft is basically me letting y'all know what players are actually the best fit for certain teams. I will say this. I am going in the draft order that these players, I am going in draft order because of the fact that it's just the easiest thing to do. I'm not saying that these players should go in the first round. I'm just saying that these players are players that are a perfect fit for these teams. Not only are these players the perfect fit for these teams, the teams are also the perfect fit for these players. It's always about maximizing the amount of talent that you got, and I just think that there's a lot of these guys in this draft that fit the bill for certain teams, and I think that there's going to be a lot of teams that kind of overlook these guys because of the fact that, you know, they don't think about it. But at the same time, there'll also be everything that I think a team would need. In my particular not mock draft, there's certain players that complement players. There's certain players that fit the scheme. There's certain players that would increase that will make the team that much better around them. And there's certain players that their skills, their particular skills, just fits the bill for what is already there. So with that being said, this is my not mock draft. And these players, like I said, I'm going in draft order. Also with me going in draft order, understanding I'm doing all 32 teams, not all 32 picks. So teams like Miami who got 3 picks in the first round, I'm only doing them once. So with that being said, that's what she said. With that being said, this is going to be my not mock draft. So starting at number 1, the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody's saying that Cincinnati should be taking Joe Burrow, blah, 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 blah. I get that. I don't think Joe Burrow should be their quarterback. And the reason why I say that is because we've never seen Joe Burrow outside of teams that haven't had a lot of talent around them. And I personally do feel that when it comes down to it, Joe Burrow may be more smoke and mirrors than you think. And he's definitely not the quarterback that's going to make the people around him better. Like, you're not going to get that Tom Brady style of quarterback when you think of Joe Burrow. But because you won't get that, and with Cincinnati trying to basically do a rebuild there, they need something that's going to energize the fan base. They need something that's going to energize the country. They need something that's going to help them, especially after all these years of having boring Andy Dalton there. So for me, the best fit for the Cincinnati Bengals is a quarterback, but it's Jordan Love. Jordan Love fits what they need. They need a dual threat quarterback who can alleviate some of the pressure off of A.J. Green. A.J. Green, Andy Dalton has put A.J. Green in such a nasty position in so many different situations that, you know, every time you turn around A.J. Green, Andy Dalton throws a pass that gets A.J. Green almost lit up sometimes. And to me, Jordan Love relieves that pressure, and it also helps extends A.J. Green's career. And because of that, I feel that Jordan Love is probably the best fit. Again, Cincinnati needs somebody dynamic. They need somebody that the fans can get behind on, especially with them trying to build up this team. They're not going to win soon. And because of that, you need somebody that is going to energize the fan base, that's going to entertain the fan base, and that's going to keep that's going to keep people in the stands. Other than that, I just don't think Joe Burrow is going to do that. People will be excited about Joe Burrow. I just feel Jordan Love is probably the better fit. Number 2, the Washington Redskins. This is not a fan pick, but understand, I'm going to give you the reason for it. The Redskins, Chase Young. Chase Young just makes so much sense. They're switching to a 4-3. They need that dominant pass rusher, and they need something that's going to help them immediately. And that also Chase Young also complements everything else on that defensive line. He will be the catalyst that helps this team long term. 4-3 defense, making that adjustment, they have to get guys that can actually do that. Again, with Chase Young on one side, Montez Sweat on the other side, and their collective of defensive tackles in the middle, I think Chase Young is just the best fit for the Washington Redskins when it comes to the pass rushing ability, what his involvement will be in the defense, and the fact that he won't have to worry about dropping in coverage to cover running backs and things like that. So Chase Young is the best pick for the Washington Redskins. Number 3, this may shock a lot of people, but Jalen Johnson, the cornerback out of Utah, is the best fit for the Detroit Lions. A lot of people, I understand, they like Jeff Okudah and stuff like that, but Jalen Johnson is the cornerback that Matt Patricia is used to having, even with his years in New England. If you pay attention to some of the cornerbacks he's had there, or the cornerbacks that have been there, when they've had success, they've always had aggressive cornerback play. Should that have been Ty Law, Darrelle Revis, even Stephon Gilmore. Jalen Johnson is that. He's that aggressive cornerback that Matt Patricia really loves. Not only that, Darius Slay was kind of that way too. So Jalen Johnson, to me, is the most aggressive cornerback in this whole draft. And to be quite honest, I think that for him, he's the best fit for them, and they're the best fit for him. Because no matter how you look at it, that aggression that he comes with is going to be very complimentary to that Detroit defense. And like I said again, because he's such a aggressive guy, he makes way more sense in Matt Patricia's defense than what people can even imagine. And like I said, I just think that Jalen Johnson is in fact the best fit at cornerback for the Detroit Lions. The next thing I got is the New York Giants. The New York Giants, they need a lot of help in certain areas and things like that. But the biggest thing they need to do is relieve the pressure off of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is going to probably end up, if they don't relieve the pressure off of him, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt just like Todd Gurley got hurt, because they're going to be expecting for the offense to go through him all the time. And they need another threat. They haven't had a threat since OBJ to really relieve Saquon Barkley. So with that being said, I think they should take CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is everything you need in a wide receiver. He's pretty much polished. Not only that, as good as Marquise Brown was the year before, CeeDee Lamb was just as good. He's a great route runner. He's kind of fast. He's not the top end fast, but he's fast enough. Not only that, he's very skilled at what he does, and he's a great run blocker. So to me, CeeDee Lamb best fits the New York Giants because, again, like I said, they're going to need to find ways to alleviate the pressure off of Saquon Barkley, and at the same time, it gives Daniel Jones more time to develop as a quarterback. And Daniel Jones hasn't had a wide receiver quite like CeeDee Lamb, so I think that you'll definitely see an improvement, but they have to take CeeDee Lamb. At number 5, I got the Miami Dolphins, and I know they need a quarterback, but to be honest, they need to start at a position that they desperately need. And to me, that's offensive tackle, and I got them having Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton, the reason I chose him is because of the fact that he is a demolishing tackle. He's so aggressive that he's a mauler. There you go. He's the type of mauler that somebody like the Miami Dolphins need to protect whatever quarterback they bring in. Mekhi Becton just fits that mold. I think the last time that the Miami Dolphins had an aggressive offensive lineman was back when they had Richie Incognito. Mekhi Becton isn't as nasty as Richard Incognito, but he's a mauler. He gets people out of the way. He blocks, nobody gets around him. He's a devastating blocker. He's big, he's massive, he's a mauler. I think that that's what Miami needs, especially with Miami trying to go with a younger quarterback. there needs to be somebody who's nasty to make sure that that young quarterback doesn't get hurt. So Mekhi Becton for the Miami Dolphins. For the LA Chargers, again, what I said about Joe Burrow earlier is why he should go to the LA Chargers. LA Chargers is the perfect fit for Joe Burrow because we've never seen Joe Burrow outside of a team that isn't talented or already has a ton of talent around it. And for me, Joe Burrow, you need to get him into a situation where all the talent around him just basically improves what he is. So with that being said, with Mike Williams being there, Eckler being there, and Keenan Allen being there, along with that pretty decent defense, and the fact that you also got Hunter Henry, the best fit for Joe Burrow is actually the LA Chargers. There's no getting around it. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, I think Joe Burrow might be more smoke and mirrors than what people think because even at LSU, I never saw. He doesn't have that fire that I feel that needs to be stoked to really make to have that chip on his shoulder. I say that he doesn't have that chip on his shoulder, and I think that because he's played around so many people who's been so awesomely talented, that he doesn't know how to play outside of that realm. And I think that if he goes to any team that doesn't have the stacked talent like the LA Chargers or what he had back at LSU, I think that Joe Burrow is going to be a failure as a quarterback. That's just my opinion. I know y'all like him and stuff like that, but I'm just saying the best fit for him is the LA Chargers. Next is the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's basically been decimated when it comes to their defense. They lost Ron Rivera. Pretty much their whole coaching staff isn't there. They're going with a whole new coaching staff. And like I said, pretty much their whole defense basically either retired or left through free agency. So they have to rebuild that defense. The guy that I feel should be the key piece to restarting this whole defense is Kenneth Murray, who I feel is the best linebacker in this draft. Kenneth Murray he's everything that Carolina used to have in Luke Kuechly. He's a very fast linebacker, he's very smart, and he can call all the plays. So for me, he's basically that stalwart linebacker that they need that's going to restart and rebuild this whole thing when it comes to Carolina, because Carolina needs to completely rebuild this defense. Like I said, everybody is pretty much gone from that defense, especially I think they pretty much lost practically their whole defensive line. But like I said again, it's just for everything that's being said, Kenneth Murray is the best fit for the Carolina Panthers. Next is the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona basically has a stacked team, a fairly stacked team. DeAndre Hopkins, that was a massive upgrade. And they also got some young receivers that they still got there. They're still working some kinks out. Kenyon Drake is a good running back. So they're still working on stuff. But to be quite honest, they need a tight end. They need that safety valve that keeps Kyler Murray from always wanting to run. So to me, again, the guy that best fits that bill is Adam Troutman from Dayton. Adam Troutman from Dayton is exactly the tight end that a Kyler Murray needs. Somebody who can kind of block, has a very decent blocking skill, but at the same time, he's elusive enough to get himself free and get open and help somebody like Kyler Murray. I think he will also be a safety valve more than what people think, and he's big enough to be a threat in the red zone. So to me, Adam Troutman best fits that for the Arizona Cardinals because Arizona isn't actually that far away. They might need a cornerback in the upcoming draft and things like that, but Adam Troutman to me best fits that bill when it comes to the tight end and what Kyler Murray could be and what he needs down there in Arizona. Next, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to be honest, Jacksonville. You guys have, to me, I don't think you guys have really ever had the wide receiver threats that y'all had back when y'all had Keenan Allen and Jimmy Smith. And I don't know why there's never been like a rush to really rebuild that. But to me, DJ Chark is incredible. But he needs a buddy. He definitely 100% needs a buddy. Allen Hurns, I understand why y'all got him and things, but he's not the buddy that DJ Chark needs. So for what I felt you guys should get a wide receiver, and Jerry Jeudy to me is that guy. The reason why I say y'all need a wide receiver and why DJ Chark needs a buddy, you guys again, I got understanding on Jay Gruden's offense. Jay Gruden does not develop quarterbacks at all, period. He doesn't do it. Since his time back in Tampa Bay, all the way to his time in DC, he does not develop quarterbacks at all. And to be quite honest, you have to look at it from a standpoint of what best fits his offense. And to be quite honest, talent is the only thing that fits his offense. I will tell you this, Jacksonville, there is a high chance, a very high chance, that when it comes down to it, Leonard Fournette may not be a factor next year in this offense, because I don't know what it is, but Jay Gruden doesn't really like the running back that much. So to be quite honest, I don't see, if you guys have to get a wide receiver, y'all have to get Jerry Jeudy, because other than that, it's not going to work. You guys are going to probably also need a big play tight end too, because Jay Gruden's offense is not the offense to not have talent in. Just me being honest. For the Cleveland Browns, I know y'all need tackles and things like that, but y'all desperately need linebackers. And Isaiah Simmons, to me, is the best fit for y'all. The reason why I say that is because he's a roamer. Like, when I think of Isaiah Simmons, I also think of LeVar Arrington. LeVar Arrington was this freak linebacker that nobody had ever seen before. I mean, he was agile, he was fast, and he was strong. Isaiah Simmons is all that, a complete everything guy. The thing that happened with LeVar Arrington was that when we finally figured out what he was good at, it was already too late. To me, I think for Isaiah Simmons, Cleveland is the best fit for him because you guys already have a stout defensive line. And because you have that stout defensive line and you have a fairly decent secondary when it comes to Denzel Ward and everything like that, you guys actually need a guy like Isaiah Simmons, because why? He can basically take care of that box that's in between the defensive tackles and the defensive line and the secondary. He's actually fast enough and capable enough to take care of that entire box. So to be quite honest, I think Isaiah Simmons best fits you guys' scheme, Cleveland scheme, because there's no way you can actually sit up there and say that he doesn't fit, because like I said again, with Myles Garrett and that defensive line that you guys got there, Isaiah Simmons would make the best fit for you guys at that on the Cleveland Browns. Next, I got the New York Jets. Again, New York Jets, they need a wide receiver. Robbie Anderson was okay, but he wasn't the guy that could really do something that you really wanted him to do. I got Henry Ruggs III. You put Henry Ruggs and Jamison Crowder together, you're talking about you may have what is the fastest wide receiver duo in the NFL, because trust and believe, Henry Ruggs III and Jamison Crowder will burn some stuff. Not only is that a smart deal, a smart pick, it also helps Le'Veon Bell become the running back he used to be. Now, if you sit up there and you don't draft Henry Ruggs III, there is no other option. I mean, there's some other guys, but to me, Henry Ruggs III is the best option for the New York Jets, because again, you put him and Jamison Crowder together, you're talking about the fastest wide receiver duo in the league. Not only that, you now free up Le'Veon Bell to do the damage that he was doing back when he was in Pittsburgh. So to me, that's the best fit for the New York Jets. For the Las Vegas Raiders, they need a cornerback. And the cornerback that I chose for them is Jeff Okudah. The reason I said Jeff Okudah is because Jeff Okudah, what they do at Ohio State is similar to what they do in Las Vegas. So with that being said, Jeff Okudah is the best fit for the Raiders. Now, let me explain why. Now, Jeff Okudah is a very sound cornerback. He can cover. He definitely can. He's not as aggressive as like a Jalen Johnson, but he can cover. He definitely can cover. He's very skilled, and at the same time, he's very coachable. You can tell from the scheme that Ohio State runs that he's a very coachable guy, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He makes some mistakes, but he doesn't make a lot. That is the perfect fit for the Raiders because, again, like I said, their defensive scheme is similar to Ohio State's defensive scheme. And I think that he's a guy that they can actually just put out there, even as a rookie, and he will make an automatic and instant impact immediately because of the fact that he fits their scheme so well. So Jeff Okudah Jeff Okudah is the best fit for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Indianapolis Colts. Now, y'all just got Phillip Rivers. Y'all still got Jacoby Brissett. And I know you guys need another wide receiver, maybe an offensive lineman, probably a tight end. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I like what some of y'all running backs did last year. But to be quite honest, you guys need a dynamic running back. Definitely need, especially with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was used to dealing with Eckler and having Eckler there as a safety valve whenever he needed him. And Eckler did a great job of relieving Phillip Rivers of being in trouble so often. With that being said, to me, DeAndre Swift is the running back that I feel best fits you guys, especially with Phillip Rivers being there. Not only that, he's dynamic enough to play not only with Phillip Rivers, but also be able to play with Jacoby Brissett. And like I said, with that, you really have to really think about what impact this guy can really be when it comes to how much work can you give him. You can give him a lot of work. Not only that, you don't have to worry about him ever going off the field. He's an every down back. So to me, he's dynamic enough, he's good enough, he's great enough to sit up there and be your every down guy. But not only that, he will be such a safety valve with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers will trust him so much. So to me, DeAndre Swift is the best running back, and he's the best fit at running back for the Indianapolis Colts. Next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the guy that I feel is the best fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Andrew Thomas. He's a plug-and-play guy. You can't get enough of him. The reason why Andrew Thomas fits that is because you just got Tom Brady, and Tom Brady needs to not be concerned with his left side at all. And Andrew Thomas will be that guy to make Tom Brady feel like he has nothing completely to worry about. He's already polished. He's already got the skills. I mean, he's a phenomenal pass blocker, but he can also pull if you need him to. But 9 times out of 10, and with Tom Brady at the helm, you're not going to need him to do a lot of pulling. So with that, I think Andrew Thomas, because of how polished he is as a tackle, is the best fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next, I got the Denver Broncos. Now, again, the Denver Broncos, they have line problems. They have not been able to really get that line together as much as they wanted to and as much as they have. I know they brought in a few people, but to me, the best fit for the Denver Broncos is Tristan Wirfs. He is that guy. He's a great run blocker. He's a fairly decent pass blocker, but he's a great run blocker. Philip Lindsay last year, I don't think he did some work, but he didn't get a lot of shake that he should have gotten. But again, I think that Tristan Wirfs will be the best fit for Denver because he does run block and he does pass block. But like I said again, he's a real solid run blocker. And if you're trying to get that running game going again, he is the best guy to get that running game going again. I know you guys need linebackers, but to be honest, Drew Lock is your guy. He looked good this year, but I think that he needs to have that person that he doesn't have to look over, because one thing about Drew Lock is that if you force him into problems, he will definitely give you problems. So the way you shore that up is by drafting a guy like Tristan Wirfs who can pass block and can run block. That's who I think should be the guy. The Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons need help on different... I know they need interior line help for both sides. To me, I think the best guy, the best fit for the Atlanta Falcons is Derrick Brown. Derrick Brown is a complete monster and a complete wrecking ball. I've seen this guy take on double teams and triple teams by himself at Auburn. Now you put him beside a few guys that Atlanta already has there, and you're talking about this guy could possibly be the most devastating defensive player around. I feel he's the second best defensive player right behind Chase Young. I understand Isaiah Simmons is good, but Derrick Brown is a devastator. Like I said, he's a wrecking ball. He's a monster. The guy is the best thing that I've seen in a defensive tackle for a long time. I mean, he could be on pace to be similar to Aaron Donald. Now, again, I'm not going to say he is Aaron Donald, but man, I'm telling you, this guy is the most devastating defensive tackle you could ever see in college. And I mean, and playing in that SEC, there's no way he can. There's no way that this guy can't be something special. But I do think that the Atlanta Falcons is the best fit for him. The Dallas Cowboys, yes, I'm actually going to talk about them because I'm going away from being a fan. The Dallas Cowboys, the best fit for them is Javon Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw is basically a guy who can basically free up Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch from getting like a lot of people. Like, the problem that Dallas always had, especially when it came to facing teams that had a superior running game, was the fact that a lot of offensive linemen were able to bust through the first line of defense, which is that middle of that defensive line, and get up to Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch and Leighton Van Der Esch. So they were able to get up to them, and then these guys would have issues shedding blocks because they were being blocked by offensive linemen. Javon Kinlaw stops that. Javon Kinlaw will actually sit up there and free Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch to do what they do, which is basically play in space. And if that happens, like I said, again, I'm sorry to say this, you know, they would be a devastating defense. Now, I know they need a cornerback and things like that, but again, Javon Kinlaw will free up Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch to basically roam around in space, which is what they do best. I mean, Van Der Esch can come up and tackle and things like that, but Jalen Smith is that roamer. And I think that if you free both of them up to actually do more, then they will do more. And like I said, to me, again, Javon Kinlaw is actually the guy that fits that bill. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, they need offensive line help. I was thinking running back at first, but a lot of the running backs in this draft are not quite similar to him, James Conner, but I don't think that's what they need right now. I think they need an offensive lineman, and to me, their best chance at an offensive lineman is Cesar Ruiz. I think he's the best. He is that Steeler. He has that Steeler mentality. He has that Steeler gameplay. You don't really hear much from him or hear much about him when it comes to getting in trouble or anything of that such nature. So to me, Cesar Ruiz is probably the best offensive lineman who fits that Steelers mold. He comes in, he's going to do his job. He also creates a traffic jam. So when it comes down to it, if guys are trying to blitz and things like that, he does an amazing job with blocking people and pushing people off the other blockers and things like that. He does a very good job of doing that. And I have to admit, he's probably one of the most solid interior offensive linemen in this draft this year. So to be honest, Cesar Ruiz is probably the best fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chicago Bears. Chicago has been looking for that middle fielder that they've been searching for God knows how long. They've been looking for that guy who can play the middle of the field and really, really do all the things that they need to be done special. Like I said, they haven't had that since Adrian Amos. And again, I'm going to be honest, I just think that this guy fits them best. And it is the son of a former Minnesota Viking. Antoine Winfield Jr. would be the best fit for the Chicago Bears. He has incredible ball skills. He's a very good tackler, but he basically does a great job with tracking the ball. Again, you could tell his dad really worked with him on his skills and everything, along with being coached at Minnesota. So to be quite honest, Antoine Winfield Jr. may be the best fit for the Chicago Bears. Next is the LA Rams. The LA Rams are missing a running back, and they need that dynamic running back to make that offense work. And the guy that I think best fits them is J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins can run, he can catch the ball, and he's a fairly decent pass blocker. But to be quite honest, he is the best fit for the LA Rams. There's not a lot of guys out there that can actually fit that mold of being a devastating runner, along with also being a guy who can help in the passing game. J.K. Dobbins is that guy, and I do feel that with Sean McVay and how Sean McVay schemes up offenses and everything like that, J.K. Dobbins, he will get the most out of J.K. Dobbins and J.K. Dobbins' skill. Not only that, J.K. Dobbins has that sneaky speed where he gets around the corner and he's gone. I'm not saying that he's as fast as Todd Gurley, but he's quite a shifty, scary running back if he gets out in space. So he's definitely one of the good ones, and I do feel that he's the best fit for the LA Rams. Next is the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia has been missing that linebacker that basically cleans up everything that is missed by the defensive line. And currently they don't have that. Patrick Queen is that guy. I think Patrick Queen is the best fit for the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to that, because he will complement Fletcher Clark so well when it comes to being like a cleanup guy. He will come in, he will tackle at the line and things like that. If he sees that there's something that's not right coming through that line, he will be right there to stop it and stuff it. And I think that he's the best fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, like I said, he's the perfect complement to Fletcher Cox. He is a cleanup guy. You saw that at LSU when it came down to people getting past that defensive line. When it came down to it, Patrick Queen was definitely a cleanup guy, and that's his role, that's his job. So I think that for the Philadelphia Eagles, Patrick Queen is the best guy that fits them. The Buffalo Bills need a running back, but they need a running back that isn't the star, because Josh Allen basically runs the ball, he throws the ball, he's basically their everything. So to me, I chose a guy that I felt most people probably wouldn't see it, but he's already used to this particular role, and that's Cam Akers. He will be like kind of like their de facto battering ram, but at the same time, he will be a good safety valve because he can catch out the backfield. He can run the ball. But I think that with him, he's also a guy that if you give him space, he will break it. He will break the long one. So I think Cam Akers best fits the Buffalo Bills when it comes to the running game, because there's not a lot of guys that could be that battering ram, and when you need him to run the home run like you need to. Like I said, at Florida State, he was basically almost like, pretty much like almost 60-70% of their offense, and he just was just he just was just their battering ram. He just kept running. So being as though he's used to that type of pounding, he's used to that type of environment, I think that he will be a good fit for the Buffalo Bills, because now he can relax a little bit. He can do the pounding, but at the same time, he doesn't have to be concerned with being 60 or 70% of the offense. So that'll be a good fit not only for him, but also for Buffalo. Next is the New England Patriots, and I know a lot of people are going to get mad about this one, but I got them. I think Tua is the perfect fit for New England, and New England is the perfect fit for Tua. Let me explain why. Tua needs a year to adjust now, or maybe some months to adjust. Now, for the New England Patriots, they're trying to see what Josh Stidham got, and Brian Hoyer is there. I think that if you bring in Tua, there's a situation where they can actually be in a pretty good situation, because Tua is that guy who's going to actually sit up there and get them wins, because he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to have the biggest chip on his shoulder, because he's going to feel that everybody's doubting him. And Bill Belichick is the guy who's the right coach to fan the flames to really get these guys going like they need to be going. And to me, Tua is the perfect fit for New England. New England's the perfect fit for Tua. Like I said, it'll give Tua still time to heal a little bit more so they can see what they got in Josh Stidham. Even when it comes to Brian, I think it's Brian Hoyer. I think he's the one that's there. But, you know, just get him to do some stuff, some cleanup stuff. And if Tua needs to step in and they feel Tua is ready, he'll be ready to step in and start playing for him. He fits the perfect mold for a New England quarterback. Next, I got the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints had, ever since Brandon Cooks, they haven't really had a really strong complement to Mike Thomas. This guy right here will not only, everything that Mike Thomas is, this guy isn't. But once this guy is around Mike Thomas and Mike Thomas teaches him and everything like that, this guy will be on par with Mike Thomas. And that guy is Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is incredible with yards after the catch, which is what New Orleans basically is. That New Orleans have always been the team where their wide receivers yards after catch is just phenomenal. It's staggering. So Brandon Ayuk actually is that guy. But like I said, everything Brandon Ayuk isn't or doesn't have, Mike Thomas does have. And if you put Brandon Ayuk around Mike Thomas, eventually all the skills that Brandon Ayuk doesn't have, Mike Thomas will teach him, will show him, and him just seeing Mike Thomas will help him out a lot. Because again, you talking about Mike Thomas and Brandon Ayuk, and Ayuk finally gets himself together where he's as skilled as Mike Thomas, you're talking about you might have the most dangerous pairing of wide receivers to exist in the NFL currently. So just to let everybody know, Brandon Ayuk, he yards after catch, guy's phenomenal. But like I said, all the skills he don't have, Mike Thomas does have, and I think that if he goes to New Orleans, that is the perfect fit for him. And also it's the perfect fit for New Orleans. Next, I got the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota has been struggling a little bit, especially on that offensive line, that right tackle position. I think it's Reef Riley is the guy that's over there. But he's not as solid as a blocker that you would need, especially in the passing game. So with that being said, I have Shadiq Charles as that guy. Shadiq Charles is used to being in a system that focuses on passing the ball. He's a great run blocker when you need him to. He's not a puller. He can pull, but he's not really a fast puller. But he's a guy that when it comes down to it, if you need him to push somebody out of the way, he can do it. If you need him to not make sure your quarterback holds up and doesn't get sacked, he can do it. He is the perfect fit for a team that's trying to win now, because the worst thing about Minnesota is that they have Kirk Cousins coming up, Dalvin Cook coming up, and also the other running back, McKinnon. They're all coming up at the same time. So you definitely need a left tackle that can come in. Like I said, Shadiq Charles can come in immediately and start playing right now. He doesn't need he doesn't need a lot of polishing up. All you got to do is put him in there and he will play. That's all he needs. That's all that's ever needed when it comes to Shadiq Charles, and he's the perfect fit for Minnesota. Next, I got the Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien has done a disastrous job in Houston, and to be quite honest, trading away one of the top wide receivers in the league was insane. They need a wide receiver. The reason why I say that is because on their roster currently, they have two often injured wide receivers in Brandon Cook and Will Fuller. You can't win or be successful when you got guys that are never really on the field that often. I understand that when everybody got mad that he went and ran out there, but he got a guy that is injury prone, and which is why the Rams were willing to give him up. You know, so with that being said, you can't go into the season with two guys that are injured all the time. So with that being said, I actually put on there Justin Jefferson would be the guy to basically come in and fill that need. He's not, people are doubting the fact that he's a number one receiver. I don't doubt that. I think that this guy is a number one receiver. I think he can make the plays that you really want him to make. And at the same time, the only issue that he has is that he has a problem with separation a lot. But once he does separate, it's over. Like, this guy is practically a touchdown waiting to happen. He'll make a mistake, but trust and believe he'll make that mistake up later on. He'll figure it out, and he'll win the battle next time. He's not the guy that's going to win the battle the first time. He's always the guy to win the battle the second time. I don't know if that's because he's thinking while he's on the field, but again, he's the best person to put in there with Deshaun Watson, because there's no way that in the season the Texans are going to be able to rely on Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks to stay healthy the whole season. So again, Justin Jefferson is the best fit for the Houston Texans. Next, I got the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson is starting to get older. He's getting up there in age. He can't be doing all this running and scrambling like he was before. So they need interior offensive linemen. And to me, the guy Lloyd Cushenberry is the best offensive lineman for him. Lloyd Cushenberry fits that mold because, again, him and Cesar Ruiz are kind of like similar guys. They are the traffic stop guys. Like, they don't let a lot of things get past them. And not only that, Cushenberry can also play center. So I think he's a combo guard and center. And because he's that, he definitely can fit us. He definitely can fit any position you might need him when it comes to Seattle, because they definitely need to find a way to start surrounding Russell Wilson with people that is going to protect him. And that offensive line is a great example. He cannot be running around, especially with him getting up in age. He can't be running around as often as he currently does right now. So you're going to have to find him blockers that's going to keep him upright and keep him comfortable in the pocket so he's not scrambling so much and mess around. Even though he's played every game since he's been in the NFL, you don't want to risk him getting injured on one fluky play where he's scrambling out. So with that being said, Lloyd Cushenberry is the pick for me, is the guy for Seattle. The Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens need linebackers. They desperately need linebackers. This particular guy, I feel, fits the mold of what a Baltimore Ravens linebacker is, has been, and always will be. That guy is Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks is an incredible tackler. Jordan Brooks is all right. So Jordan Brooks is another cleanup guy, but he's a guy that, if you look at his tape at Texas Tech, he always had the issue of blockers getting to him and him having a problem with shedding blockers. He won't have to deal with that in Baltimore. He's the guy who tackles everything. He tackles everything. He's in on every play. He does it all. And to me, Jordan Brooks fits that mold of what a Baltimore Raven linebacker is. He makes all the plays. Like I said, he makes all the plays. He makes all the tackles. He's not a really tall linebacker, but he's a guy that gets it done. And I'm telling y'all, when you look at the tape of Jordan Brooks, you can really see Raven written all over him. I mean, like I said, he just fits that mold of all former Ravens linebackers. I mean, Jordan Brooks is a tackling machine. He doesn't like it. I've never really seen him miss a lot of tackles, but I tell you, when you talk about make a lot of tackles, the guy makes a ton of tackles. He is the perfect fit for the Baltimore Ravens. Next, I got the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, they look pretty good in the playoffs. They came out playing hard. They did what they needed to do and things like that. At the end, they kind of burned out. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I only think they need a tight end. They need a tight end that's actually a threat. Not only a tight end that's a threat, but somebody who can be that safety mechanism for Ryan Tannehill when he gets out of the pocket and he starts to scramble. Somebody who's right there for him. The guy to me is Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet can basically be Ryan Tannehill's Jason Witten, because he basically Cole Kmet, he doesn't do a lot of good blocking. I say that he's not a really solid blocker. He will improve in the NFL, but he's not a solid blocker. His value is in the passing game, and to me, Cole Kmet best fits that what Mike Vrabel is looking for in a tight end, to be that figure that's going to actually find a way to get open and help his quarterback at all means. And that's what Cole Kmet does. He basically does everything he can to help his quarterback at all times. He's always looking back at the quarterback. When he sees that the ball hasn't come out, he's always turning around. He's trying to find open holes. He's trying to find open spaces. So he's definitely the guy that fits Tennessee's thing. And Tennessee they really don't expect their tight ends to block as strongly as they could. But, again, Mike Vrabel played the tight end position in New England a little bit. He might expect for him to block some, but he probably more just expect for him to just get in the way and then release and help Ryan Tannehill. Other than that, I think Cole Kmet is probably the best fit for the Tennessee Titans. Next, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers need a guy opposite of Davante Adams. Davante Adams is he's starting to get double teamed, and people are starting to zone in on him a lot. Aaron Jones showed up last year. Now what they need is somebody to complement Davante Adams, and at the same time get Aaron Jones open more. So that person to me is T. Higgins. T. Higgins is not the wide receiver that needs to be the flashy guy. He will be a guy that he's going to be very consistent. He's going to run very crisp routes, and he's going to get open. He's going to find a hole in the zone. He's going to be that possession receiver that Green Bay needs to really to get all that pressure off of Davante Adams and find a way to get teams to not fill the box against Aaron Jones. So I think that T. Higgins, hands down, because to me, he does fit that Nelson mold where he will, like I said, he will get open. He will definitely find a way to get open. He's not a speed guy. He's fast, but he's not one of those just jet down the thing. But he's fast. He's definitely fast. But he's going to be a guy that's going to definitely 100% get open and get and have Aaron Rodgers help get him get Aaron Rodgers. He will get open for Aaron Rodgers, and at the same time give Davante Adams that much appreciated valve of relief when it comes to being double teaming and things like that. So T. Higgins is the best fit for Green Bay. San Francisco 49ers. Don't kill me for this, but I definitely want the San Francisco fans to understand where I'm coming from. Jimmy Garoppolo has not fit Kyle Shanahan's offense at all since he's been there. And to be quite honest, I don't see how he'll ever fit that offense. With that being said, I have to say that for me, I think that the best fit for Kyle Shanahan's run-pass option offense is actually Jalen Hurts. I know that sounds crazy. I know y'all love Jimmy Garoppolo and things like that. But when you really pay attention to the games and you really pay attention to Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not the quarterback for that offense. He really isn't. And understand that Kyle Shanahan hasn't had that quarterback for that particular offense since Robert Griffin III. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is Robert Griffin III. He's a dual threat quarterback, which is what that offense needs. But at the same time, he can read defenses a little bit better. He is coachable, and at the same time, he's not going to make a ton of mistakes, but he still does need to be polished up. But in the sense of that run pass option offense, it's to me, Jalen Hurts is probably the best guy to fit that offense. He kind of ran a similar offense at Oklahoma. At Alabama, they only used him as an option quarterback. At Alabama, they only used him as an option quarterback. Whereas at Oklahoma, you can actually see the RPO offense really work out for him Not only that, I mean, CeeDee Lamb had really big numbers under this guy. So again, like I said, you're not dealing with a guy who couldn't play. I just think that he's the best fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Again, not saying that they should take him in the first round. I'm just saying, if he's available for them, they should really analyze and think about taking him because he is the best fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Last but not least is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs need a running back that is going to make sure that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to be the everything, everyday guy. Because there are going to be times where Patrick Mahomes is going to need a break. And you need a guy who's such a threat at running the ball that he could take over the game himself. To me, that guy is Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is the epitome of an Andy Reid running back. And other than being able to catch that well out of the backfield, he's a guy that's going to break it each and every time. He gets a hole, he's through that hole, he's out that hole, he's gone. Jonathan Taylor is the perfect fit for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, absolutely perfect fit. Like I said, he will get that ball and he will take it to the house if he finds even an inch of daylight. He's gone. And to me, I just feel that when it comes down to it, Jonathan Taylor fits everything Kansas City does. And Kansas City does everything that will be the perfect fit for Jonathan Taylor. And at the same time, he will definitely help with Patrick Mahomes and not having Patrick Mahomes having to be the everything and everyday guy. So with that, that is what I think. I think Jonathan Taylor is the best fit for Kansas City. And that's how I feel. That has been my not mock draft. So with that being said, y'all tell me, put in the comments what y'all think. Tell me what players y'all think best fit certain teams. Tell me what players best fit your team. To me, these are the players that best fit these teams. Again, I'm not saying these guys should go in the first round. I'm not saying that these guys are going to these teams. I'm just saying that these guys, when it comes to the offenses, when it comes to complimenting other players, when it comes to certain things and aspects of these teams, these players best fit these teams. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.